what would you say are the most addictive, I guess, emotions that are unhealthy that people get addicted to when they're dating and they're starting a relationship? What are those unhealthy addictions around emotions?
In my personal experience of working with clients that come to me, particularly men, when they come to me and they're in these kind of addictive habits, they get addicted to shallow substances like appearance and sex. Usually when they when they find themselves in emotionally abusive situations, it's because they've placed all of their satisfaction in her appearance and the sexual gratification they receive. And it's almost like a shortcut to an ego boost. And they place that on a pedestal, and that becomes their conflict resolution is sex. It becomes their form of status, is that she gives them that appearance when they walk around. They don't look for somebody on the same level of them in terms of appearance. They shoot above their shot. They go a bit higher than what they should be going for. And as a result, they become like a slave and submissive to her behavior simply because she possesses that sexual quality that they've been craving for a really long time.
Man.
Particularly if they're a man who haven't had access to women throughout their childhood and throughout their life. And so when they do meet a beautiful girl, they allow her beauty to determine their attachment rather than her character. And that becomes very addictive from a male gaze, in my experience. And I don't know as two men, but does sex have that much of a power over them where they can blur their vision on all other characteristics?
I hate to say this, but I'm guilty of this in the past.
It happens?
Well, I mean, it's blinding for a period of time until it isn't.
Right.
So and when you think that the character is also there, then you're like, wow, this is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I personally, just experienced in my past, I was kind of blinded by that, the beauty and the sexual attraction. And then when I realized that certain values weren't consistent with words, they weren't matching, over time, you get disinterested in the beauty. You're like, okay,
does it take something to snap men out of that when they're in that kind of intoxicated stage? Pain,
suffering, heartbreak, sadness,
sadly,
depression. It's like a dis-ease, whether it be an emotional dis-ease or physical dis-ease. For me, I think it was kind of both. Whereas like I had to just feel like, man, I don't feel myself. I feel like I'm giving up who I am to try to please someone else. And they're never happy. No matter what I do, how much I change, who I become, it's not enough. And it was exhausting.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I realized, oh, okay, I chose a certain relationship based out of a wound. Everything you were saying was like speaking to my like wounded child. It was like, okay, yeah, no girls liked me when I was younger. I didn't have any attention.
Did you suffer with that? Because you were an athlete, no?
When I was in my teens, it changed. When I was younger, it was like you didn't get the attention. So when I was choosing based out of a wounded me, it was like, oh, okay, here's this beautiful opportunity or this experience or whatever it might be. And that was captivating in some ways, right? That was pulling me in, drawing me in.
And so it made you forgive other unacceptable behavior in the moment?
In the moment, but then you after a period of time, it was like, okay, you wake up. I woke up.
Yeah.
And I think those lessons allowed me to have wisdom and being like, okay, well, that's not really everything. Just beauty and sexual connection is not, does not necessarily mean long-term happiness in a relationship. Yeah. Maybe, maybe it is, but there has to be other values and things that match, things like that.
It shouldn't be the primary filter, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you're saying that a lot of men that you're working with, that you see, get addicted to sexual connection or beauty
and attractiveness
first,
and
and how it makes them feel.
Yeah, they'll come to me believing it's some childhood trauma and they'll think it's that, but really it boils down to how much of a priority they've made sex and beauty. And I know it's difficult in this day and age with the advent of pornography and social media, where beauty is the main kind of component of women that we're seeing, but it makes them stuck in a way that they can't explain to themselves. And only when I say, is this sexual chemistry the best you've had? And they're like, yes, it's the best I've ever had. The moment I hear that, I'm like, that's why it's become your glue.
They're addicted to it.
They're addicted to it.
So, and this is something that I think people should try.
Yeah.
If they've found themselves in kind of addictive
patterns
in previous relationships, try being with someone and not having sex for a period of time. Wait as long as you can. I'm not saying wait forever, but wait a month, 2-3 months. For me, with Martha, we waited for a long time. and allowed me to say, oh, do I actually want to spend time with this person if we don't have sex? And I would want everyone to ask themselves the question, if I did not have sex with the person I'm dating right now, would I want to be with them?
Exactly.
Or would it be too much stress and trouble?
Would I be addicted to them?
Yeah, but exactly. I don't know. What do you see women, in your perspective, struggling with in terms of the emotional addictions in dating or in relationship patterns? What is that? Is it sex, chemistry, or are you seeing something else with the women you work with?
I was going to say, I feel like you guys are giving women too much credit. You're letting them off a little lightly
It happens
here.
I don't get access as much to the female perspective, and it's the same kind of, you would imagine?
I don't think there's, I'm not seeing a huge difference between men and women in this department at all.
Oh, wow, interesting.
I think that women get attracted sexually, they get attracted to someone's looks, to,
is it more the sexual or the material or the status that women are attracted to? Like, here's a beautiful, handsome man, a sexy man, or is it more, oh, he's got status and money and that makes him sexy?
I think the myth is that it's just all women go around looking for status and money, and that, when they see status walk into a room, they're like, yes, please. And if that were true, then every
with that.
Rich dude that walked into a room would be the hottest property around. And we just know that's not true. A lot of guys who make a lot of money get to that point and realize, oh my God, I need help in meeting women.
Really?
Because I'm not good at it.
They struggle the most.
Yeah, because they've spent, so many men spend their whole lives trying to achieve a certain level of status or money, thinking that at some point there's going to be a door they're going to open in the money world or the status world. And when they walk through that door, all of a sudden women are going to come flocking.
It doesn't happen.
And then they find that they're the lonely guy at the party who no one's talking to. And it turns out it still matters to be able to go and talk to someone. It still matters to be able to carry yourself in a certain way where there's something about you or there's an ability in conversation. So I keep losing out to the 25-year-old dude, a hot surfer who's broke, who walks into the room and is the one getting the attention. So I think there is this myth among men that all our problems will be figured out if we could just make enough money and if we could just get enough status. And I think there's this myth among women that, or about women, that they're not they're not driven in by charisma and looks and sexiness, and that, they don't care about those. Men are superficial. They care about those things. Women don't care about those things. Not my experience. My experience of women is that they're just as interested in all of those superficial things that can lure any of us away from deeper values or how someone treats us. It's not to say that there's not an appeal for some people to someone who's got their life under control, but no, I don't think we should let women off so lightly when it comes to being attracted to the superficial.
Interesting.